you're listening to Coffee Table Talks on One Love Radio. James O'Connor, One Zambia, One Love Radio.
Hello. Welcome back to Coffee Table Talks. This is your girl, Tay.
And this is Lady Pinjani.
How are you doing this? Oh, Lady Pinjani.
I'm good, thank you. All right,
we're having a little problem hearing Miss P, but I hope you all are having a great evening. I am. Well, yeah. Pinjani, my evening was sleeping.
Why was it like that?
I thought I had fully recovered, so you know me, I went in with full force.
Yeah.
And I found myself finished.
Oh dear.
And sleeping.
Oh.
You know when you sleep, you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's so good to have you today.
Thank you.
Missed you so much on Tuesday.
I was even telling someone today, I was like, so I don't know what happened.
But we thank God you're well.
Yes, listeners, I'm here. I'm well.
And we have B on the line.
We lost her.
Okay, all right. Katricia, nowadays what the problem is with network, but we trust that she's going to call back in soon.
Yes. So recap of last show.
Okay, all right. So welcome to Coffee Table Talks. How's been your day? I trust that you've had a good day. If you tuned in on Tuesday, we were looking at some of Bunde's guidelines for 2018. Tehila, I know you missed. So pointer number one was double portion. That one, she's very very, very passionate about it. And you know, she was like, God means well for me, and He means well for you. And the day you realize that, something changes, Tehila. You know, it makes you realize when something is wrong. It's like,
this is not. And you're able to
come back to God
no.
and say, Father, you know, what's this?
What was that?
It's just the reality.
As a child, though we've gone back. This is not what we discussed, Lord. Can you please do something?
You know, so double portion and the realization that God means well. Pointer number 2 was hope. She talked about hope and the significance of hope in our lives. And we linked it to having a sound mind, you know, peace that surpasses all human understanding. It only comes from above. And when I went home later that evening, pretty much I couldn't stop. Rather, I was startled when I found something had popped up on my Facebook that, you know, I had shared about 6 months ago. So somebody had visited my page, Pinjani, and they went into my archives and they liked a video that I had posted sometime in July. And guess what that video was about? Hope.
Really? So God is speaking.
So oh my God. And this person probably didn't even tune in. They don't even know.
They just a path. I call it trails of bliss.
Trails of bliss.
The Lord just leaves little trails of.
I like that.
If you listen and you follow them, you'll find a gold mine.
Oh yes.
But it's all about the listening.
That is so true. And then I get to realize that that video was based on the night when I lost my mom, and I pretty much share how where there is life there is hope. Where there is life there is hope. So when someone passes on, no matter how prestigious a doctor is, even if they're Dr. Chakuti, Professor Shan Yuko, when life is gone. So what we have to realize, if you're listening to this show, regardless of what you're going through, where there is life, there is hope. So that for me was really a reinforcement from the Lord. And lastly, we looked at stewardship. How do you handle what God has given you. How do you harness it?
How do you harness it? How
How are you treating what God has given you?
It's funny you said that. Someone, I was listening to someone. You know how you just put in sermons and you're just listening through the day? And it was actually Bill Winston. He was saying God starts small. Same thing with business. If you can manage money for a small little tamanga, then you can move on to bigger, better things.
I like that.
Yeah.
And it's from there that we're
We
going
gain
further today.
So if you can't manage the small, then God has to keep you going around that circle.
Nice. So you have to start from somewhere. And we talked about this on the show on Tuesday itself, where we say but
You haven't managed it.
you haven't mastered, you haven't shown yourself diligent with the little. It's like the story of the talents.
Oh yeah, that's true. And God is, and I always say, if there's something that God gets angry with, is not utilizing your gift. Your gift, not other people's gift, but the thing that God has put in you. That's what you'll be accountable.
Exactly. So stewardship is a very, very, very significant is a very, very significant subject in our lives that we need to address. And it doesn't just revolve around money. It's not just about financial resource. Stewardship is about time. We looked at the issue of how are we managing our time. Do you respect your own time? And you realize that if you can't respect your time, then you can't respect someone else's time. And also there's the issue of stewardship concerning the gifts that God has given us, and this is what we're talking about regarding the talents. So basically that is where we're building on from today. Bunde, welcome back.
Thank you. Hello, listeners. I hope you're well.
Hey B.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm alright, thanks.
I heard you had a good time and all the things. I heard you had a swell time on Tuesday.
Ooh, a swell time. Okay.
Oh no, swell sounds like it's from the 90s.
It does. Maybe even from the 70s.
I think so.
Yeah, no, we had an amazing time, and we did get some good feedback. There was one comment that particularly blessed my heart. And it just made everything worthwhile. You know, sometimes we do these shows at the end of the day a little tired, and when someone has been blessed, it makes it all worth it. So please keep that feedback coming, listeners, and just let us know how you feel about the show. But yeah, it was a good show. And
today the lines are open for text. So the number to text is 0977-336085. I'll say that again, 0977-336085. If you want to add in your 2 cents. So, Munde, we're talking about stewardship. And Penjani, what you said, we'll start off from there?
Yeah, right there. So let be. So B, I gave a recap. Pick up from there. We talk.
B,
yeah.
It's yours.
Okay, cool. I heard some of what you said, Pinjani, and I just wanted to just add on to that sometimes, we look at some of these Bible words and sometimes we don't really relate to them or relate with them as well as we would just relating with some of the words that we use every day in our everyday language. And I think one of the best words that I found that has to do with stewardship is just simply being a manager. You're a manager of your life, you're a manager of your time, you're a manager of your relationship, and I think that almost every part of life then falls within those 3 categories. It's just about being a manager, being able to have strategy in the way that you do things. And I think some other words that I found, one interesting one was you are a caretaker. That one was quite interesting, that you're a caretaker, so it means you're a caretaker, you take care of something, you maintain it. If it's broken, you repair it. You take care of it. And I quite liked edge that gave to the word stewardship, that you're taking care of something. And I think it's just more accessible in our everyday language to use words like that sometimes to describe some of these biblical principles that are quite important.
I like that. And it gives it, the way you've said it, it gives you this sense of responsibility. Like it's no one else will do it for you but yourself. And funny that you said that one day this weekend. I was listening to our uncle Bishop T.D. Jakes.
My uncle number.
What was it before?
But tabali kona vata TD
okay. Category. But he said something interesting. He said if you don't have a system to sustain what you build, it will be a waste of time. And then he was talking about quiet time with God. And he was like, you have to have this consistent communication with God. Otherwise, you will lose your spirituality. Everything that we don't create a system around, eventually we lose control. You know what I mean? So he was saying business-wise as well, you have to have systems. Otherwise, I was talking to my brother coming from work today, and he was like, Taylor, you need to create. He was asking me about where I work, the restaurant industry, and asking if they've created systems and all of that. So he was saying, when you want to sell a business, there are people who start businesses just to sell them. Those people are usually very very calculated. They'll have systems in place and all of that stuff so that your business can be bought. But if you don't have systems, your business might not even make it, after like 5 years and all of that, just because you didn't have systems. Maybe a good model and everything, but you didn't maintain the systems, they were not tight enough and all of that stuff. So when he said that, even just about spirituality, that if you don't create a system with God, you don't give God your time, you're going to find yourself confused. You're not sure, I didn't hear God on this and all of that stuff. And I think that is so, I think it marries in well with what you said, B.
I love that, Tay. I almost just feel like saying, repeat the last 3 minutes of you talking, because like all of it was just so deep. I love that, creating systems, and I can identify with that, having a mind like that. I love organizing things. I always seem to be trying to organize things. And
yes,
when you say that,
because things run smoothly, right?
Sorry?
Because things run smoothly, and then you're no longer stressed. You're just like, oh, okay, we're good, and everything is kind of, I don't know how to say this, but you're working together. You've created this network, or even big multinational companies. They're only there because of systems. Because they didn't have systems.
It's so true. It's funny you say multinational systems. I'm currently reading a book about multinationals. And one of the things that has come out of that book that I've learned is that they say that the biggest companies in the world that have done so well and are making billions and billions of dollars are companies that are connected to their customers, because they get feedback from their customers. So they're always on the ground getting customers to try out their products even before they're actually ready for market. And that's how they begin to perfect those things. And I think I thought of that because of what you said, Tay, when you said that you need to spend time with God, and that within that time, if you're stewarding your time, stewarding your business, somehow it just creates improvement in your life. That because you are connected to something that is giving you feedback. So we're connected to God, who gives us feedback about our lives. So that's more of a vertical sort of thing, but it's the same thing. So if we don't actually steward that vertical relationship with God, then everything else horizontal just then gets messed up and there's no system. But you find that when you spend more time with God and you're stewarding your time with God and you carve that out and you protect it, you find that your horizontal life begins to make sense and you start getting all these crazy strategies from heaven that no one ever thought of, business ideas that no one ever thought of. It's not just in your prayer and your worship, but business ideas, work ideas. You go to work and all of a sudden you can solve a problem.
Wow.
A problem that they've had for 10 years, you're going to solve a problem. So it marries in every single area of your life. And sometimes, the Bible talks about how we should never despise the days of small beginnings. But sometimes we don't steward what we have because we despise it.
That's true.
Say that again, B. Say that again.
Yes, I've even forgotten what I said.
You just said it.
I was about to say it and then it left. But okay, I'll start from the verse and then I'm sure I'll remember from there. So I was saying that the Bible tells us that we should not despise small beginnings. And sometimes we don't want to steward things because we despise them. Oh, that's it. Come back. Yeah, we don't steward things that God has given us because we despise them. We think that it's small. But we forget that our blessing comes from there. When you steward, little, like the Bible says. Actually, I think I found that verse. I think it's Luke. Yeah, here. I was actually looking for it. Luke chapter 16 and verse 11. And the Bible says, if therefore you have not been faithful in the use of, let me actually start from verse 10. He who is faithful in very little is also going to be faithful in much. And he who is unrighteous in very little is going to be unrighteous also in much. If therefore you have not been faithful in the use of unrighteous mammon or riches or money, who will entrust you with true riches? And if you have not been faithful in the use of that which is another, who will give you that which is your own?
So maybe your next come up is based on how you manage what you've been given now. So it's not even anyone sitting on your destiny. No, actually it's you sitting on it.
Exactly. When we nephew.
Now we kala. Wow. And that's funny, Penjani and B. Yesterday I was talking to my brother and I was like, there was a business that my friend had 3 years ago. And it was such a great concept. It was social business. And I said to myself, if I had the mindset I had then, now, I would have taken over that business. And my brother goes, isn't it funny that we all have opportunity? It's just that a lot of us are not ready mentally for these things.
Wow.
That come. So I was like, when God puts you in certain seasons, you have to maximize your season so that you're ready for the next. So you find yourself maybe like the children of Israel, you just keep going around this mountain. You're like, what's going on? But you're not learning the skills you need for the next level. And the way God is, he's not going to release you into your next level until you can't go into grade 8 without passing grade 7.
Right.
I'm someone who skipped a grade and now I look back, I'm like, I wish I didn't, because in that year I could have learned how to study and all of that stuff. But you need every level. So God is not a God who allow you to skip levels. He's like, I need you to get this right. I need you to get your money right so that I can give you more.
And that's the thing. In real life, the about kila grades.
In real life, no. Even you said our parents used to say about mathematics. You can't get the fundamentals, then you struggle. Even in university, you struggle. Because that same fraction, kakabuela.
Yes.
Always used to come back.
Building blocks. The basics. The building blocks. And in the last few months, Tehila, you and Bunde know what has kept me busy. And I got a chance to visit so many different homes, experience so many different building styles. And I got to realize that in some homes that we're building for ourselves, sometimes you were finding, the problem was the foundation. It's leaking, it's porous. Does the foundation leak? I don't know. It's porous. Let me sound more professional. The water comes up and before you know it, it seeps through the walls. And then things are bad and you realize it's the building blocks.
How you started.
And also the units that you used. So some people will go and buy the cheapest blocks that they find. 2 kwacha or 1 kwacha. And then others perhaps are buying some for 3 kwacha 50. And just that little markup is all the difference between some fault lines and or not, the strength of the buildings. It's the difference. And as we're talking about stewardship today, I really, really believe that, for that person who is believing God to handle huge chunks of money, you have to start today, even as you listen to this radio program. Father, teach me how to handle this. On over the weekend, Prophetess Mwaka Twajira Yesu hosted a very successful Distinguished Women's Conference 2018, and one of the speakers was Prophetess Elfrida Msambazi. And this amazing woman of God who has been in ministry for many years spoke after Reverend Jane of the Liberty Christian Fellowship. And so Prophetess Musambazi, pretty much first of all started by talking and appreciating this previous speaker who at the time, some years back, was significantly younger than Prophetess Musambazi, and she entrusted her to run some of her businesses. And how she did such a good job. But it was actually Reverend Jane, rather, who brought up the story of one of her business partners, who she gave about 6,000 kwacha to invest into something, and this lady brought back 13,000 kwacha.
Wow.
13. And these are things that are so rare nowadays.
People you just find bad, Lydia.
Yeah. I actually even have
Benjani. I was going to say Benjani would have like a book of...
and
it's sad.
I've got something that's right now needing prayer.
Yeah.
No. I even come against. I just said, "Mwele sanga mupashima kwata ishandi." If they will not deliver what I paid for, they will give me back my money. Enough is enough. There is no more loss. And to me, so pretty much, what was I trying to highlight as I shared those stories? If you can't grow 6,000 kwacha, have you even heard my voice has gone up?
It has even gone up.
Yes,
the soprano has come out.
The soprano one day. I'm telling you, if you can't grow 6,000 kwacha, okay, maybe for some people 6,000 kwacha even sounds like, oh, it's huge, Benjani. Bring it down. If you can't grow 500 kwacha, and you're believing God for nifuna chabe 5,000 kwacha capital, nifuna chabe, but you've never been able to steward 500. Nang 50 kwacha ngaba kupela for our younger listeners. Iwa wangu nishwaya mkubutukila candy, a good time at the mall, cinema, gandiba kashana ma Brazilian.
Na 50.
Yes.
Which Brazilian?
Eish.
Concote Brazilian.
Oh,
No problem.
God.
Concote Brazilian. Ile babo.
Mafuso.
Yes.
Kali you Chinese alish. So alipanga lemba Brazilian, but it's a cheaper, non-Brazilian grade, but made to look and fool you and deceive you that it is. So we are spend.
I'm not investing.
My young brother actually even he likes to say, I know it's the members who say it, but he likes to make reference to it. It says, you walk with a shipway spirit.
And it's a real spirit. It's a consumer. You're a consumer. You're not and it's funny, like lots of people, like when you did economics,
Sorry?
You did economics. So they'll even tell you, Benjani, in the poor neighborhoods, those guys are consumers. And I always wonder, why is it the ones who are struggling the most are consuming the most?
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know, but consumers. That's cheap.
One practical thing, one thing I deliberately have started doing actually to prevent me from just spending. And you know how it is sometimes when you're running around and you maybe you're having a busy week. So you don't have time to have a good lunch and what else. So you find that every day you're buying something to eat, fast food or whatever. So whether it's anything, some form of chicken and chips, some form of chicken, some form of what. And at the end of the week, you actually find that you're spending. So one week, what happened to me is I noticed I was spending almost, I think I was spending like 50 kwacha a meal every day for like 5 days. And I realized that, oh my gosh, I spent 250 kwacha on fast food, on like junk. And I thought to myself, I have just made somebody rich.
Yeah,
Because I've been giving them my 50 kwacha every day from Monday to Friday. Yes, I'm busy. Yes, I expected to be home to have lunch. But I have given somebody just, I stopped. Now I pack a sandwich at home. If I know I'm going to be busy, I buy bread. I buy whatever. If it's an egg, if it's whatever I want, meat, chicken, whatever. And it turns out so much cheaper. And also what I've started doing is I've started apportioning my money. They don't want the money
for
for this.
sandwiches?
So I'm telling you, because I've just seen that, it won't work. It will not work. There's no way you can be a steward of your money if you're not keeping track of it.
B, I like how you said
You have to keep track of it.
I like how you said you apportion money for food, because when people talk about budgets, they think, oh no, I can't have fun. But what they're trying to say is direct money for fun, direct money for snacks,
Exactly.
then so it's just knowing where your money is going.
Yes.
Because you could be making more, but you're not seeing it in your life.
And what Wunde is talking about is something similar to the envelope system.
Okay.
Some years ago, I heard a way of budgeting called the envelope system. So if you get 1,000 kwacha a month, all right, or maybe what is a more realistic figure for homeowners or family people? Maybe let's say 5,000 kwacha. Okay, let's just use one.
5,000.
Okay.
Yeah, 1,000 is easy because it's easy to multiply.
Okay,
or
great.
divide.
So, listeners, this is just hypothetical, all right? I'm not saying Esho Mfola, but let's assume you get 1,000 kwacha. Using the envelope system, the 1,000 kwacha has come in one envelope. Number one isula envelope, you take it out, and you have several other envelopes, all right? And so, in one envelope, you put in your rent. Your rent will be 200 kwacha. In another envelope, you're going to put upkeep for the month, which is, let's say, meals, groceries, everything, all of these things. Groceries, cleaning agents, shani, mwabika 200 kwacha. Another 200 kwacha is dedicated to school fees. Another 200 school fees. Another 200 kwacha utility bills. All right. So basically, I didn't even factor in transport and all, but I'm just giving you an example. I can't cover all elements or aspects of your life. The envelope system is actually so detailed that depending on your income level, you need to even have an envelope for it. Coffee entertainment, that's where my movies yengela. Wayako ku candy floss if you like candy floss, or smoothies, like some of us who like smoothies. Wabika. Once entertainment envelope wapuisha, you cannot go into
more.
Yes,
into rent.
I like that.
There's no more.
There is no.
There is no. Yes, there is no.
Yes.
And Penjan, I think we discussed this last time. I was saying, what happens when my family members?
That's why ideally, but then I know this comes back to the reality of most Zambian homes.
Yeah.
The issue of so many needs but limited income. But also this one, I am not going to always be pressed or financially. That's not my portion in Jesus' name. So even as we're sharing this, we're sharing it for the future. God is going to bless you in a mighty way. And when that happens, it doesn't now mean that your entertainment envelope when the Lord enlarges your territory, it simply then means perhaps the number of envelopes. In the first example, when I said 1,000 kwacha, maybe you can only manage 5 envelopes. Then when the Lord brings you down to 5,000 kwacha, we can probably extend the number of these envelopes. Now, this is not how the subject is taught. Okay, I've Penjani'd it. So you get to about 8 envelopes. These extra 3, I'm not saying it now becomes entertainment 1, entertainment 2, entertainment 3. No, the extra 3 can now become savings. Yes, and savings. I don't even know why I didn't even start with that one, but they actually say you only spend what is left after you save. That is what some schools of money teach. So that then also needs to you recalibrate yourself. You have to include that there. You have to include family, friends, my birthdays. We cannot perpetually be people that only wish happy birthday kubantu pa Facebook.
Like me.
Nama
happy birthday. Text HBD.
And
HBD.
To make matters worse, you can't even write from your heart.
Because now we share
HBD.
Jesus loves you.
And on Coffee Table Talks, we keep it real.
May the Lord bless you with.
If you can't buy, if you can't buy a gift or whatever, at least take time to write from your heart. Wish someone well. And this people do receive. They actually know that if you are from a rich well of riches. And I know we're busy, so some of you, yes, I know you're not happy with me because Mlalemba HBD, and I know you're busy. Yes,
but even a call is shorter. You can even call and say hi, happy birthday.
These are also other things that we even need to be doing. Call people. Let's call people. Let's hear their voices. Let's invest. Stewardship also means we must invest in our relationship banks.
That's a big one, Benjani. People become too busy chasing dreams.
Yes.
Abaneno in the dust. Then when you need them,
exactly. And I had gotten to a place where there are certain names when I saw it on my phone, just like so little fish anyway.
Yes. And that's sad.
It's sad.
Yeah.
And then you find that it's so heartwarming. So anyway, these are some of the things that we want to do. Yes, friends. These are some of the things that we want to do as we are building our 2018, as we are, becoming better stewards of what God has given us. So one day, that was just my illustration, based off of what you talked about. Food, you gave an example of food, and you just got to this place where you realized, did I just spend X amount on food and food alone? Yeah.
Although when you add it up, it's scary.
Oh yeah, it adds exactly, and that's what scared me. You think you're removing a 50. Oh, it's just 50, and then at the end of the month it's 250. What if you have 2 weeks like that? That is Monday.
1 month.
Quarter on fast. 1 month is one bin, guys.
These places, you guys are 50.
It's wasteful. It's actually wasteful.
And then you be complaining, Kuti, I'm broke. And you're actually not even a broke person.
Just probably don't use. Realize something I think you can say is you're not moving for money. I know Susie Orman, she says money is a spirit. And she would say things like, look at your purse. How do you keep your money? That lets you know what you think of money. And she would say, the coins, do you just let them drop? Do you pick them up? Do you think that kawaningwe or ka5ingwe is valuable?
I'm so encouraged to hear that.
Yeah, because billionaires, we've heard stories of these Asian billionaires who monetize on the $1, like 50. Just say, if I can get 1 million people to invest in this 50 ngwe, whatever, I'll make such and such amount. So these people, and I'm just reminded of when Tabo came in and how she was talking about statistics. Something that we don't do. We don't count the cost. We don't say, okay, this month I must sell 40 cakes.
Right.
This month I must do
I like that.
10 weddings or something like that, so that I can have this amount of money, so I can save.
Right.
So they're already thinking ahead. They have their whole year planned, and they're like, this is what I want. And then obviously life happens, but at least they've planned and they know how they're working, so it's not haphazard. And I don't know where we got it, where we don't have that counting, where we're counting the costs. Maybe it's just our culture.
Yeah, it's
we despise those. It is our culture. We despise. We're embarrassed to look for coins in our purses because we feel that it means that we don't have money. But coins is money, And I remember, at my local supermarket, they actually know me now. They give me my change.
for the coins.
I don't leave
Many of our trips
I don't leave a 10 ngwe. Seriously, if my change is 5 kwacha 10 ngwe, I ask them, where is my 10 ngwe? Madam, it's just 10 ngwe, and I tell them it's money and it adds up, and they will laugh. But now they know. When I ask if there's a new cashier, and I ask, where's my 10 ngwe? The guys who know me will say, this one always asks, please give her 10 ngwe. I will never leave it because it will add up. Think of it, you guys. If I leave 10 ngwe every day for 30 days, how much have I left? I only even, you've left a 30 kwacha.
I like the way you've broke it down. Yes, it does.
It really adds up. So let's never, ever despise. And I've seen something also that some women are doing they're getting like piggy banks.
Yes.
And certain coins, maybe they choose like a one kwacha coin or a 5 ngwe, and that's all they're going to put. So when they go to the supermarket and get their change, if they have extra 1 kwachas or 15 ngwe, they put them in that tin or in their piggy bank, or they make a tin or whatever, and they put it in there. And over time, it's money that they don't even spend. They just keep putting, and it becomes a habit of putting. And then after a year, how much have you got in there? Yes, it's not a bank. I know bankers who are listening to me now will say, well, there's inflation, so it loses value, or you're not gaining interest on that. I know as an economist, I would probably say that, but it's better than not saving anything. If you're saving it consistently, you will be saving faster than the rate of inflation.
I'm telling you.
So whatever you do, whatever works for you, some women are so enterprising. Some women have vegetable gardens. When they sell their rep or the Chinese cabbage or chihuahua, whatever it is from that vegetable, then you find that there's a patch of that vegetable garden that they don't spend. So maybe you have like 5 beds of a certain vegetable. But the money that you get from a particular bed of vegetables, you put it away. That's your savings. And you work with the rest to grow the business, to do whatever you want to do. And over a year, how much are you going to save? If you're selling rape for 50 kwacha every day, for example, and you're putting it there, how many days are there in a year? How much money are you going to have after that? Just little ingenious ways. People are using ways that work for them. Even a 10 kwacha every day. After 50 days, you guys, how much do you have? You have 500 kwacha.
And it's
I like the healers.
But you know what, Penjani and B, these things become real when you can count. This is why for a long time I used to ignore statistics, you guys. I just used to think these are just people who make up numbers. And I'm like, no, these guys are telling the truth. And they're giving you information that you could use to have an edge, at life or whatever. But B, I was even thinking, if you even save just 1 kwacha a day, at the end of the year, that's an extra 365. That as simple as that. Just so you have to see. And even with businesses, I know a lot of businesses in our country run, how people just start a business, you haven't counted the costs, things happen, katuishi mpya shali poa, and these things are biblical. And B, this topic, I think is even touching Penjani's heart.
Yes.
Because, a lot of brothers and sisters in the Lord, issue pampia. It's so sad that sometimes you even give someone, can you buy me a ticket to church or something? And you're even wondering, or will it be, sorry, nachita gas? Oh, okay, zero. So things like that. We can't be believers and be handling money like that. Penjani, we have gone na 5,000. But in church I'm even lifting my hands.
Exactly. I owe you a story after the show, girl. I will behave myself and I won't bring it on air.
There's been one at people owe me money. I have no right to get fat. You owe me money. And like we said, if you've got problems, like I think I said this one time. There's a conference Penjani with Caroline Marsh, and she was saying you have to be bankable.
Oh,
right.
How are you going to get a loan from the bank?
Right.
And we can say, okay, they're demonic, they're not giving us a loan, but you're not bankable.
The bank is demonic.
They are contending with my destiny. You're just not bankable. So in the end, it's just wisdom. If someone gives you, as Penjani was saying, 5,000, can you bring back more? Can you bring it back even? That 5,000. Because that's all the bank wants to know. Will you bring it back? You've borrowed it. Can you bring it back?
I can't deal. Oh my gosh.
I can't deal now.
You are really, really pressing a very sensitive button in my life right now.
As children of the Lord, let's be excellent. God is excellent. God pays back.
Yeah, build your name.
He does.
Build your name.
Yeah.
Let it be known that you are a person that is trustworthy.
With a little.
And you will find people cannot understand the value in a name if you've never experienced walking into a place and say, my name is so and so, and suddenly the way you're treated changes.
And they know this person is a person of integrity. This person is.
Exactly. You know? If you've never experienced that, you will never know that it's important to build your name. It should, and there are different ways of building your name. In the West, you have lived in the West. If you're a restaurant owner, there are certain people who, when they come, you know, this one is a food columnist. They have come and announced.
Yes.
And ngatwa filufyanya fyapa rating yo yala fuma in the magazine 2-star, 1-star. Other people, we just don't have these things here, you know. So, but build those ones who actually walk in a certain level. They actually, bankers even not quite a loan package.
We want you to.
We want to give you a loan
because you're so bankable.
Exactly.
There's a church in our
you and me are the ones who are crying that feeling very demonic if
but you're just not bankable.
But you're not bankable.
Although not everything can be won with fasting and praying, Benjamin.
No.
Of any wisdom.
And you want your name to have
I'm sure in heaven they're like Iwe. No, they're pushing away Iwe.
It's as good as, you know, how people listen to this show and they know okay, Penjani and Tehila likely are gonna meet each other at least once a week. One peling pia Penjani nishakwata Tehila. Inana na ingila mo mumpia shakwata Tehila tiyo. My niece
ukuingila flu ukuingila and then ukukano kubwesha,
and on top of that, yes,
onende ipshat Penjani weni zi
ngashashi wachi
fona shimya nokushimya muleke mwemantu.
But these are real stories, and these are the things that are happening, guys. We're laughing about it, but it's really, really, you know, someone has your money, then they decide I have a problem. So
they
let's
decide
say they have 3 P. Then they decide they have a problem. Instead of them telling you, they bring your money and tell you no. They'll take that 1 pin, they'll use it for their problem, solve their problem, and then all of a sudden you're 1 pin less. They're giving you 2 pin. Inga 1 pin me. Where's the 1 pin? This is when now the lies start. No, I was only given 2,000. But that person told me that they were going to give you 3,000. No, I was only given 2,000. Long and short of it, over time you find out that the brethren and the sistren have lied to you. They actually took your 1 pin. Now when they're pressured, that's when they say, no, actually I had a problem. Then I took 1,000. I thought I was going to pay it back.
It might all be these problems. I had a similar. I lent someone money. So I asked. Although it was all day, I said, can you please release that money back to me? Although I think it's a culture issue, where to a point where I don't know if I want to lend to older people. Maybe I just give them as a seed. Penjani seed. And I asked for it a couple of times, and then he answered, something came up. So I said, really? That's the only answer? Bill. Not okay. Guys, that's how I released that money. And in my head, never again. It has just registered. He's not bankable. And I moved on. Because you can be getting heart palpitations from, you know what I mean? I was just like, no. You know what I mean? And you can't do that. Like, and I think this is something, Penjan and B, we need to talk about as well, where we need to learn how to confront. Not confront, but to tell people, I'm sorry, I can't pay you back, like I said, on the month end, because this has come up, but look, I'll give you 20% of the money. Make an effort, like, eat out your debt. Some people are in debt just because you're living, as my mom would say, you're living beyond your means. You're living like you get 200,000 a year, but you get 50,000. So obviously you're going to have money issues. It's not even the money issue. You're just living beyond, and you're looking at so-and-so's car, so-and-so's house. They've started building, so I should start building. You know what I mean? Just live in the way that same place God has put you. Pass that test and you move.
Exactly. Pimp it up. Make it a little hotel room of some sort. Make it beautiful. Live within your means. You know, I just realized this has been a confession and healing session of some sort. I was about to also throw my own there. Then I just realized that mine is still in the process.
My heart breaks.
So I'm telling you,
I'm a heart breaks.
I'm ama BP ole satatu pela.
Even when you see the person, BP goes up.
Yes, exactly. Your emotions, you get all sweaty. All of a sudden, your temperature inside goes up. Your heart rate goes up. In some cases, you start sweating. You even feel, oh my God, you're feeling hot.
Even angry. How dare they eat that ice cream?
Yeah.
Instead of just communicating, I think
ice cream. Yeah. Okay. No. Anyway, it's still sensitive, but it's something that I've been praying about because I've experienced trusting people, and you release an item to them, and they promise to pay at the end of the week. And by nature, I'm not a good. I'm ishipinda. I'm not a good. I've not even done business like that before. So. If you take something from me to Hila and say I'm gonna pay you up the weekend, I'm not one of those who will come to you per weekend and say, oh Shan, I'll actually give you enough room to hang yourself, and then sadly to find 4 or 5 years. Ile 5 years. $1 Bantu nine gospel minister, or because Shan. These are the things that we're experiencing in the church. As if that was not enough. But I think at one time I had it that day, and I really I put it out there. I did not know how to handle that issue. I flip it. Yes. I flip it. So, in the process, through that that revelation, somebody then now also rants about something, and it turns out that the person they're ranting about is somebody who had just released money to buy me a huge asset, and that thing is pending. It is still pending. And my heart just sunk. I was like, I'm venting about one thing. Then number, is there something else brewing? Even.
Oh, sorry. Serial issue. Hey. But you know what I'm saying.
So if this was a Q&A, okay, one of those problems, one of those problem shows where they say, oh, hello, hide my ID. This is me. For me, I'm going through this thing.
Right.
And I haven't even confronted the
She's
individual.
She's not even hiding her ID.
No, so initially it's not hide my ID, but now like change the cash and the question.
No.
But it's on the pitam. So I got to realize, Kote, am I also now the next victim? That is how now I've been praying. I was like,
to remove yourself off the list. But you know,
this was a trap from the enemy. Trust to Muntu.
But you know what I'm learning with money? I don't think money has the ability to destroy the best of friends. And that's why even in the church, in contracts, even if you're my friend Penjani, to protect your friendship, because I love your friendship, because you love my friendship, let's do a contract.
Yes.
You know what I mean? In the end, you're protecting each other. And I think that sometimes in the church, we don't do the necessary things. I don't know whether we feel like grace will come and just...
No, Kubafe trusting.
Too much.
Very, very trusting. And that's been my story for years. I'm a very trusting individual.
You give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yes. And the reason why it's like that for me is because I've never been a crook.
Because you think
so
people
I don't
should deal with
you to be a crook.
But the Bible says the heart
then
of man is desperately
wicked. I'm a crook. And then you realize, God, why have people become like this? Today there was a story. Was it today or yesterday? I'm sure some of our listeners have been victims to this one as well. ZRA, whereby ZRA stroke RATSA, where people faithfully but the trust agent don't clear a car for me. And they go and do something dubiously, and people are driving around believing, I've got a car. And then you go and try and renew your road tax. Sanga kuti, your car is being now impounded because you've been driving a car that was dubiously registered, and it's essentially not yours until you do a few things or you pay some hefty sums of money.
It's crazy.
And people are going through this. So we are an injured nation in many ways.
But sorry, it's injured nation. Listeners, I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, neither do I. I don't know what to say to that.
Indignation with
It's true,
injured
but you
people.
see,
But
if
it's
we
true.
really-
But
true.
Penani, can I say something? This is also all because of lack of systems.
And that is what somebody even said.
Yeah,
Kuti,
are dubious
Ifumlelanda,
because there's lack of systems.
you know that Mwadkwata ama agents outside your doors.
Yeah.
And some of us, generally, our picture of your institutions is that I can't succeed if I don't have an agent.
Thank
Why
you.
don't you put a warning sign there? Ichikala mbafye in red. Kuti, if we come directly, we have an open door policy. These agents deal with them at your own risk. And put that outside your offices. Make it visible. Put placards. Educate us. This is also what we're saying. Bankable. So make your institutions, let people realize that
I can rely on
I can
them.
clear my own car.
Yes.
It's okay. I can do it. Rather than to tatule
Because B, you cleared your own car, right?
she registered.
You
I
registered,
did.
but it
I
came
registered
out
my
so
own
much
car.
cheaper doing it yourself.
And you know, the shocking thing, I don't remember what the figures were exactly, but I do remember what the multiples were. The person that I got the car from, somebody had imported this car, so I bought it already imported. Now, the person was saying, Madam, if you just add, I think it was 1,000, okay, let's assume it was 1,000, because the multiple, he charged me 4 times more than I paid doing it myself. But the way he was marketing it, let's assume that registering a car was $250. So if registering the car was $250, he was charging me $1,000. And actually, he started at 1,500. Because he said, no, actually, madam, we can register this car for you just 1,500. Just add 1,515. And then I think he saw that I was hesitant. So then he said, okay, no, just 1,000. And for some reason, it just didn't, I didn't want to do it. I found that that 1,000 or whatever it was 4 times more. So he had actually started at 6 times more the value of what I was supposed to do. And sometimes, even just the laziness of not doing it ourselves, that's also lack of stewardship. We need to learn to do things ourselves. You get so used to paying somebody extra. Someone will charge you 4 times, 5 times more than that, and pocket the money, and you're making somebody rich.
Yeah.
So some of these issues, I think it's just wisdom, like Tay said.
We have to have wisdom in the church as well.
Yeah, just wisdom.
Wow. All right. So we've come to the end of our show. But I think, guys, we need to talk about finances at some point, especially from a godly perspective, and debt and all of that stuff, and how that holds you. It holds your money. It holds what God wants to release to you, because you owe so many people things, and you're hurting people's hearts. Yeah. So,
And all of their tears are praying against you.
so even if you're trying to do something, because
It's true.
there are prayers that are shooting, saying
Against
this
you,
one
yes.
has my money. So in the court of heaven, yeah. All right. Any last words, B?
Not really, but I've enjoyed the show, I have to say. It's refreshing to just talk about real life. It's refreshing to laugh about things, even though sometimes they're difficult. But it makes it accessible for us to learn from each other. And I've really enjoyed that about this topic. And it's a topic that's really close to my heart. So I really pray that the listeners have really been blessed by us sharing our stories today.
All right. Any last words?
Yeah.
What is it, lady?
Lady Panjani. Yeah, thank you very much. It's actually been, I'm so grateful for this. I'm even thinking we need to go in a little bit deeper. So, as just to add on to what Bunde has said, if you're listening to this show and you've been the inflictor of pain in other people's lives, it's time to repent.
It's true.
Let 2018 be a different year for you.
And put a debt plan.
Put a debt plan. Call Luabambi. You can actually go and genuinely say sorry. Maybe you lapsed because something terrible
just really happened.
Yes,
Which is normal.
If we're going to share this story, if we're going to continue with this subject, I'll share a story of what happened to me about 7 or 8 years ago. It's just that we have come to an end. But Lisa, I maybe very, very quickly, I caused a dent to somebody's car on Freedom Way. My mom had just suffered a stroke, and I was rushing into the chemist, and I opened the door, not realizing that somebody's coming into the parking slot, and the man came with fire. And there I am, and madam, you have to pay shine, and I'm just like, hello, my mom's stroke, monies are huge bills and stuff, But I always remember my honesty with that man. I'm sorry, and I was so honest with him. To cut a long story short, that man ended up being my friend. I can tell you so many stories of times. Even the other year, Tehila, of the issue of the car that was stolen from me. And I feel that the ones who caused that loss did not handle me well, but their mother, that woman came. And she apologized. If you are mafia whereby you're just like, God, and that is how I've never pursued that matter. I left it. I said, okay, God, it is so painful, but I let go. So why will we do the same as well, listeners? If you are owing someone, whether it's finances or an obligation you did not do right by somebody, go and genuinely apologize. If it is in your power to make it right by paying back, pay back. Not just number pack of table talks, let's apologize, then let's apologize, but also if it's in our power, let us do what we can do. Make payment plans, like Tehila was saying. Let us set ourselves up to receive the fullness of God's blessings for us in this year and beyond.
Amen. All right, me one word. Only all people love. Don't. Even the Bible said so. Oh no man, nothing but love. And that's been your show. This has been your girl Tay,
Lady Pinjani.
This has been Wunde.
Until next Tuesday, you all have a great evening.